So this happened a few days ago. Some of you might have already seen this, but to those who haven't seen it, it could be quite interesting. So stick around till the end. You most likely seen the videos from the famous beach in front of the runway at Princess Juliana Airport in Saint Martin, where plane spotters and tourists get super close to the bottom of a large airliners. And when something goes sideways, we almost always get good visuals from it. This is WestJet flight 2276, a Boeing 737-800 arriving at Princess Juliana Airport on September the 7th, 2025, a few days ago. The flight originated in Toronto and was carrying 164 people. What we're seeing here is an actual landing video, and I'm gonna play it in full once without any interruptions so you can get an overall sense of what happened, and then we'll analyze it in sections right after.
WestJet 2276, backtrack running 10, vacate via Echo. Parking Alpha 3.
We're stopping on the runway, WestJet 2276.
WestJet 2276, state attention.
We sent cry rescue, WestJet 2276.
Say again?
Send crash fire rescue, WestJet 2276.
Roger.
So let's go over what happened step by step using the footage. The plane comes in over the shoreline and the approach looks stable. It's lined up nicely with runway 10. It might be a little too high, but still within safe limits, nothing out of the ordinary so far. If we look at the touchdown, it lands almost right in the touchdown zone, which is very important at this airport because there isn't much room for float. There's not much flare in this landing. The nose stays fairly level and it just kind of settles down on the runway. So it does look like a hard landing, but not too extreme. So a passenger took a shot outside the window during landing, and in this shot we can actually really see how hard the landing felt for the passengers inside the plane. So again, back at the picture from the outside, we can see that the right landing gear hits first and it compresses and decompresses, which is normal. The spoiler's deployed and the plane keeps rolling straight, no bounce and no drift, so that's nice. But then the right landing gear collapses. It happens very fast, very subtle, and the right wing jumps just a little bit and the engine nacelle starts scraping down the runway. The plane keeps moving, now partially riding on the engine. There is some dust, maybe some smoke, but there does not seem to be any fire or sparks coming from the engine. And the crew keeps the plane under control, and the aircraft stays centered in the roll out without veering off to the side. So that's a good job. Let's have a quick look at the weather around the time of landing. The META for Princess Juliana Airport at 1700 Zulu, about half an hour before the incident, said that the winds were coming from 120 degrees at 13 knots. That's direct headwind for runway 10, so no crosswind component to worry about. So that's super good. Visibility was good. Some light showers were reported nearby, but not directly over the airport at the time. There were a few cumulonimbus clouds southeast and some towering cumulus to the southwest, but again, not a factor on final for this aircraft. Temperature was 31 degrees, nice sunny day with a dew point of 27 degrees, high humidity, but nothing unusual for the region. Pressure was stable around 10-16 hectopascal. So overall, the weather wasn't an issue. No gust, no wind shear, no instability reported on final. So we can't blame the weather for this accident. A quick look at the ADS-B data from the approach shows us that the airplane was stabilized in the approach all the way until it reached the runway. Speed was steady between 130 and 140 knots, which is typical for a 737 on final in landing configuration. It had a decent rate of descent that was smooth all the way down, and the lateral tracking was straight. It didn't wear off the center line, so all in all, a super stabilized approach. At 150 feet, the ground speed ticked up slightly to 140 knots, likely due to a gentle wind shift. Final recorded altitude just before touchdown is 25 feet, still at 140 knots. No speed excursions, no sink rate anomalies, and no lateral drift. This was a normal fine approach, flown well within limits. Hey, real quick, if you made it this far, thank you very much. These videos take time to research and analyze and build and also edit for sure. So if you're into aviation safety and real breakdowns with no hype, I'd really appreciate if you took your time to give this video a like. It helps the video reach other people and it tells the algorithm that this content is important. And if you want more deep dives like this with incident analysis and the kind of stuff where we slow down and take a look at what actually happened, then consider subscribing because it helps me grow my channel and it keeps me motivated to do more videos. So yeah, like, subscribe, and maybe even drop a comment below if you think we should cover something specific in another video. But all right, back to the crash. Let's have a quick look at the damage on the WestJet 737. Now, I'm not an expert in assessing structural damage, but some of the damage does not look good. If we look at the nacelle first, it's resting on the ground, and from this angle, it doesn't look like the engine itself took a massive hit. The landing gear might have actually still been able to do its job, even though it collapsed. But what stands out is the wing, the inner section of the wing, to be more specific. It has clearly taken some serious damage. It almost looks like the main landing gear actually punched straight through the structure. And this is kind of interesting because in a similar case where a 737 landed and had a gear collapse, we saw almost the exact same pattern of damage, and we're going to go into that in a moment. But other than that, visually, the rest of the airframe doesn't look like it's heavily damaged. Whether this is enough to send the plane to the scrapyard, I do not know, but we'll let that up to the professionals. But this kind of impact gear into the wing, it's for sure not a small repair, and it's going to be expensive. So let's take a look at the similar case. This was Alaska Airlines Flight 1288, also a Boeing 737-800 that was landing in John Wayne Airport, California back in August 2023. The landing was firm, not too hard, around 1.71 G, which is still within Boeing's safe limits. Nothing looked unusual in this landing, but just after touchdown, the left main landing gear collapsed, just as we see in this one, just the opposite side. The plane slid to a stop on the engine, scraping along the runway, just like this case, so very, very, very similar. And what caused it? The NTSB found the problem wasn't landing. It was a part in the main landing gear called the trunnion pin. To be more exact, the aft trunnion pin. The pin acts like a hinge bolt. It lets the gear move up and down and take a lot of weight during the landing. In this case, the pin had a fatigue crack inside, something that had been growing slowly over time. The crack came from a maintenance that was done earlier in 2018, several years before the accident. The pin was ground down too much and got overheated, which at some point weakened the metal. And even though the damage wasn't visible, every landing added more stress to the pin until it eventually broke. This was not pilot error. It wasn't a rough landing. It was just a hidden failure inside the gear that over time couldn't handle it anymore. So, what actually caused the landing gear to collapse on WestJet 2276? Right now, we do not know. The landing looked fine and was stable, and the touchdown was not that hard, but until we get the preliminary report, it'll all be guesswork. So right now we will be waiting until we see the actual report to be able to come up with a real answer. It could have been a gear issue like the trunnion pin failure we talked about, or maybe something completely different. The investigators will look at everything, maintenance history, how the gear was built and how it was maintained, and they will look at what kind of stress the gear has been under, and they'll look at all the stuff we do not have access to. When the report is released, I will go through it piece by piece. That's what I do on this channel. I break it down, keep it short and slow, so we all can learn something from it. So if you want more videos like this, please hit the subscribe and the like button. It helps the channel to grow, and it keeps me motivated, and it also encourages the algorithm to send these videos out to other people. Let me know in the comments what you think about this incident. Was it a maintenance problem, or is it a problem with the Boeing? Let me know. I read every one of them, and hopefully we can learn something together from it. Thanks for being here, and until the next one, see you.